started as soon as. All right. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education and Public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. The Board of Education is meeting electronically due to the local state of emergency as declared by Berrien County Board of Commissioners on March 24th, 2021. The public may participate in the meeting by joining the Zoom link listed above. Board members may be contacted through the emails listed below. There is a time for public participation during the meeting as indicated in the agenda. Upon prior request to the superintendent, the district shall make reasonable accommodation for a person with disabilities to be able to participate in the meeting. Requests for special assistance may be sent to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. I call this meeting to order officially at 5:11 p.m. And Liz, in absence of Secretary Triplett, can you please call the roll? No, I'll ask that we begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. That's first. You all can unmute with me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States
of America
and to the republic
for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, so now it's roll call next on the agenda. And Trustee Triplett is logging in. One second. Secretary Triplett.
While we're waiting, I just want to mention that I do have to leave in about 10 minutes. So.
Okay, thank you. Secretary Triplett,
Yeah,
are you prepared to take attendance, take roll for me?
yes, I am. Let me get
Thank you.
ready. I'm on this new computer. All right. Okay, where am I? Where am I?
Coming up, we're just a few days.
Is that
We're
right?
closing the books on Q2, so we're playing your favorite game tonight with some of the biggest winners this quarter. Traded or faded.
Where am I? They got my screen full. Okay, here we go again. I can't downsize it or nothing.
Would you like me to do the roll call and then while you get it straightened out, Secretary Triplett?
Yeah, you can do that. I don't know why I can't. Let's see, standard.
Vice President Bradley?
Present.
Treasurer Creighton? I believe you're muted, ma'am. Trustee Rockett Martin?
Present.
Trustee Buchanan?
An annuity can help cover essential expenses in retirement, so you can live the life you want. This is what an
Trustee
annuity.
Buchanan, you're muted.
More at protectedincome.org.
Itch, scratch, itch, scratch.
Trustee Owen?
Present.
Stop the insanity. Cortisone
Trustee Bowen?
Present.
prescription. Goodbye, itch. Cortisone 10.
Secretary Robinson?
What is payment for order flow?
President Robinson,
President Robinson.
present.
Your order at the price he
I
decides.
think I've got everyone else. Secretary Triplett.
Will charge you no.
Present.
Leave you.
All right, thank you. We have a quorum present. Next, we have our board norms.
Or you can pay a small commission.
Madam President, can you mute everybody?
An institutional order at a better price.
Yes, let me see.
Thank you, and I'm sorry.
Live from South Florida following the Surfside condo collapse.
All right, our board norms, Board of Education for Benton Harbor Area School norms are, we will treat each other with respect. We will listen to learn. We will refrain from side conversations. We will use our time wisely, starting and ending our meetings on time. We will challenge ideas, not people. We will ask questions when in doubt. There will be no surprises at the board table. We will practice the 7 norms of collaboration. They are pausing, paraphrasing, posing questions, putting ideas on the table, providing data, paying attention to self and others, presuming positive intentions. So those are our board norms that we utilize with each other when conducting business at the board table. We also utilize them when interacting with the public, and we ask the public to utilize those when interacting with us as well. Next, we have approval of the agenda. Can I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Make a motion to approve the agenda.
Second,
Okay, so the motion has been made by Vice President Bradley and supported by Trustee Bowens. Are there any questions, comments, or concerns before we call the vote for approval of the agenda? All right, hearing none. Secretary Triplett, are you prepared to call for approval of the agenda?
President Robinson,
Yes, sir.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Bowens,
yes.
Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next up is public comment. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Today, there are 2 areas for comment on the agenda of which you may decide when to speak. Public comment on agenda items and open public comment per policy 0167.3, which governs board participation at board meetings. We request that you preface your comments by an announcement of your name, address, and group affiliation when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 3-minute duration. And per our bylaws, no participant may speak more than once during this meeting. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement and not respond at this time. I, as president, will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response. If you have specific questions for the board or executive team that require follow-up, please email those directly to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. Is there anyone on the line for public comment? Okay, I'll ask one more time. Anyone on the line for public comment? Hearing none, I'll proceed. Okay, so we do not have any board business. We have no business under superintendent. Our first section that has business is human resources. I'll pass it over, human resources. And Dr. Townsend, is Ms. Gail on the line or are you presenting for her?
I'm presenting for her. She's having an emergency.
Okay, so I'll pass it over to Dr. Townsend to present for human resources.
Thank you. Submitting for board consideration administrative contract renewal, a facts and analysis. According to the revised Michigan School Code section 380.1229, the following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Chris Bernick, Assistant Director of Special Education, effective 7/1/21. Policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for aforementioned staff.
Okay, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Can I have a motion to approve staff report H1?
I move that we vote for the motion on staff report 1.
I second that motion.
Okay, Mr. Bradley, that's H1? Is that the motion, the report you're referencing?
Yes, I'm sorry. I'm in the blur.
So the motion has been made by Vice President Bradley and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin that we approve staff report H1. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding staff report H1?
Recording in progress.
Dr. Townsend, I would just like to add, and if everyone else could please mute, I'm not sure which line that is. But I would just ask, I would expect and assume that being that you're presenting this person for renewal, you all are satisfied with their current employment status.
Absolutely. That's with everyone that we're presenting this evening. As you know, special education had a rock star year this year. So thank you.
Okay. Anyone else with any questions for Dr. Townsend regarding staff report H1? All right, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the roll for the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next on the agenda is staff report H2, Dr. Townsend.
Submitting for board consideration administrative contract renewal, the fact and analysis according to Michigan Revised School Code Section 380-1229. The following contract is brought to board for renewal. Lorinda Robbins, Director of Special Education, effective 7/1/21. Policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for the aforementioned staff.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Can I have a motion to approve staff report H2?
I put a motion that we approve staff report H2.
Is there a second?
Support.
All right, so the motion has been made to approve staff report H2 by, was it Vice President Bradley?
I would
Who made-
say, Trenton made the motion, trustee.
Okay, so Trustee Bowens made the motion, Vice President Bradley supported it. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding staff report H2? Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan. Motion carried. Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you. Next on the agenda is staff report H3, Dr. Townsend.
Submitting for board consideration to approve the assignment transfer of staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws in Michigan. Is recommended that the Board of Education approve the superintendent's recommendation for transfer of the following personnel. Sarah Bischoff, Assistant Director for Literacy and Curriculum, effective 7/1/21. The Benton Harbor Area School, the recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the transfer of aforementioned staff.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H3?
I move that we accept staff report is it H3?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
The
Support.
motion has been made by Trustee Rocket Martin and supported by Vice President Bradley that we approve staff report H3. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan,
Yes.
trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
motion carry.
Next on the agenda, we have staff report H4, Dr. Townsend.
Submitting for board consideration administrative contract renewal, fact and analysis according to Michigan School Code Section 380.1229. The following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Tracy Davis, Director of State and Federal Programs, effective 7/1/21, policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for the aforementioned staff.
Is there a motion to approve staff report H4?
I move report H4.
Is there, okay, so the motion has been made by trustee Buchanan, supported by Vice President Bradley, that we approve staff report H4. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
trustee Bowens,
Yes.
trustee Buchanan,
Yes.
trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
motion carry.
Next on the agenda is staff report H5, Dr. Townsend.
Submitting for board consideration administrative contract renewal, facts and analysis according to the revised Michigan School Code Section 380.1229. The following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Paul Corson, Director of IT Communications, effective 7/1/21, policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for aforementioned staff.
Thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H5?
I make a motion to approve staff report H5.
I second that motion.
All right, so the motion has been made by Vice President Bradley and supported by trustee Rocket Martin that we approve staff report H5. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
Madam President,
Yes, sir, you have the floor, Vice President Bradley.
I just wanted to say, well, I commend everyone we just voted on. I also just wanted to say to Mr. Corson, awesome job, with this COVID going on, managing our Zoom meetings and everything. And even before, COVID came in. So awesome job.
Thank you, Vice President Bradley. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board regarding staff report H5?
Yes, this is Secretary Triplett. I do have some concerns that has not been, I just have some concerns as it relates to this position, and I want this on the record. I have not had the opportunity to look at people's resumes and what have you for as it relates to what qualified many of these people to even be in these positions. I was a little concerned and I was a little shocked that there were people who have worked through technology for Ben Harbor area schools for some time now through the toughest of times. And I was just a little shocked that the CTE, I think I heard mentioned that Mr. Corson was the director for the district for the CTE program, and how those individuals who were in the technology department were overlooked. And so I want to put that on the record because I do have some concerns, but I did have an opportunity to meet with Mr. Corson, and he was very accommodating, the best of his ability, but I did want that on the record. Thank you.
All right, thank you for your comment, Secretary Triplett. Trustee Bowens, you have the floor.
Thank you, Madam President. I just want to say this gentleman has been exceptional, especially with the COVID pandemic and virtual meetings. He's been accommodating. Any questions you have with Zoom or anything, he's been a go-to it. I thank him for his service and his professionalism and getting results for me. And I just want to say job well done.
All right, thank you, trustee Bowens. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Mr. Court, I would like to add, Mr. Corson's been very helpful to me as chair in trying to navigate the meeting as well. So just like to say thank you. There's often that he'll send me a message of something that I need to be aware of. So thank you so much for assisting me during our virtual meetings and moving forward. If there are no other questions or comments from the board, Secretary Triplett will proceed. Can you please call the vote for staff report H5?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes.
the Bowens,
Yes.
Canna,
Yes.
trustee Rocket Martin,
Yes.
motion carried.
Thank you. Staff report H6, Dr. Townsend.
Okay, submitting for board consideration, administrative contract renewal, fact and analysis according to the revised Michigan School Code 380-1229. The following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Jeffrey Weber, Facilities Director, effective date 7/1/21, policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for the aforementioned staff.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H6?
Support staff H3.
Are you moving to approve staff report H6, trustee Buchanan?
Yeah, I moved to approve. I'm sorry about that. I'm trying to do two things at once. Thank you.
Mhm. Is there support?
I support.
Okay, so the motion has been made by trustee Buchanan and supported by trustee Rocket Martin that we approve staff report H6. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board regarding staff report H6?
I definitely have some concerns. I have spoken with the superintendent. I sent information to the superintendent, took pictures, did reviews, observations. I am very concerned about this election. I would like to see the evaluation that was submitted on behalf of this employee. I was appalled at what I saw 3 days out from graduation. The condition with moth and the condition of our facilities, the condition of our school. We also have something that is pending at this particular time. You know, and so I know people have met and had their conversations. It's very obvious. But for me, this is not, this is something that needs to be discussed more in depth. Our facilities have been neglected and almost, in my opinion, on purpose so that the properties can be destroyed. The thing that caught my eye, my first trip through the building, on tours of the building with the superintendent, we went over to Fairplain East. And I was walking through and I saw during the COVID, I haven't said anything to anyone, but I saw during the COVID in some of the buildings where they had the 6-foot spacing. And so when I went over to Fairplain East, I noticed that the markers were down the middle. And I thought that was strange. I just thought it was strange because it was different from every other building. So as we come back to debrief in front of the office, one of the teachers make the statement that, oh, it's nice to see these. Oh, we got these down now. When these come, they weren't down this morning. Nobody asked any questions. That was the statement that was made. And it kind of threw me off. I just think that we need to have some more, we need to have some serious conversations because this is a very critical piece. As a part of our work is our facility. I went and put in hours before the graduation, unbeknownst to you all, cutting vines out of fences on the areas that our kids were coming out of. The prom, I went to see, it was dirt. Whole staff called off or was not given the opportunity to come and help. And it was prom night for our kids. Those girls' dresses came out of there with dirt on it. I think that we need to have some more conversations. Those pictures were sent to the chairman of the facilities department, the superintendent, the president, and others. So I think we need to have some more discussion. And I really want to see that evaluation, because this is not personal at all. This is business. And this is the standard that we're saying is acceptable here in Benton Harbor. Then I, again, have a right to be concerned. Thank you.
All right, next we have trustee, I see Vice President Bradley and trustee Bowens. I'm not sure whose hand was up first. Vice President Bradley, you can go ahead and go.
I just wanted to say I've heard the numerous complaints as well as been over that committee. And so right now I am in agreement with Secretary Triplett on, having my concerns about that, because we want, and I know that quote has been around a lot, we want to inspect what we expect and making sure that our facilities are top notch. I do appreciate that he has done getting some things addressed, but other things we also need to have addressed, making sure our landscaping is up to par, and making sure that, I know we can't do everything at one time, but we want to make sure our buildings are in top shape. So when we do have, if somebody from the state was to come down, or if, parents were to come up, or anybody, you want your buildings to look decent, smell good, so when people come in, they can say, oh, okay, they got it going on, because facilities are the first impression of your district. So I do have my concerns as well.
Thank you, Vice President Bradley. Trustee Bowens.
I also have my concerns, and I have let the chair of the facilities committee know. I will be voting no on this one. I have some serious concerns. It's also respect for the colleagues, the staff. Vendors have reached out to me dealing with landscaping and other issues, and I have serious concerns on this. So this is something that I cannot support.
All right, any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? All right, Secretary Triplett, can you, I think I would like to add my input to it. So I too think our facilities are a top priority, and we have to make sure that we're being consistent with the presentation and the quality and the presence of our building. And we have to ensure that our buildings reflect the pride that we have for our district. I think it's important when it comes to education that the environment around a child is one that supports their knowledge and their learning. And so I think the buildings are extremely important to ensuring that we are providing quality education. So I understand everyone's concerns. The other side of that for me is that when I came onto the facilities committee, one thing that I realized is that there was a lot that was going on with our buildings that we were unaware of because of the amount of transition that had taken place with that particular leadership and records and things like that. And so it's been nice for me to have that consistency there with someone that knows the buildings, has been present for a bit of time to be able to provide that clarification. So I do think our facilities need to be priority. I think it needs to be clear to whoever is responsible for our buildings that, we do expect efficient management on all levels of that particular department. So I just wanted to give my input. And then Trustee Vice President Bradley, your hand is raised. Did you have an additional comment or
Yeah.
was that from earlier? Okay, you have. the
Yeah, I
floor.
just wanted to say real quick, and then I did have grew up cleaning up office buildings. I started cleaning offices when I was 8, so I catch a lot of stuff and facilities, when you see things. So like you said, you want to expect that cleanliness when you walk in. Then it also is good that we have that consistency going on too, as well, because I do remember when we didn't have anyone, had someone in there, but they were also, doing other things, nefarious things too, as well. So we really couldn't get a lot of things handled. So I just wanted to add that.
All right, so we are.
I have to, oh, sorry, President Robinson.
You have to go.
I actually would like to make a comment before I leave, though.
Okay, go ahead and add your comment.
Okay, thank you. I just want to say that the facilities are so very important to me, and I think as a parent, with all of the transitions, and I'm not blaming this on the facilities director, but with all of the transitions that we've made with buildings, moving from building to building, and the struggle that we have with enrollment and or school of choice, I just want to say, I've had the privilege of going into schools in other districts, and their buildings are as old as our buildings, but our buildings have been severely neglected because when you walk through their buildings, you can see the same elements that are present in our elementary and middle high school, but they take care of what they have. And so I would just like to charge the committee, the staff, and the superintendent to come up with or to continue to work on a facilities plan that's not just about eliminating or tearing down buildings, but to improve the buildings that we have and to also maintain them. I know that we've received a lot of grants, and I think it might be a good idea to continue to look into grants that we can use and the CARES money and different things that we are able to do to make minor, upgrades or just upkeep to our buildings so that, that first impression is everything. And so I just kind of wanted to say that, and I do have to leave. So after the vote, I'll be leaving. I'm sorry about that.
Okay, thank you, Treasurer Creighton's Secretary Triplett. Oh, Trustee Wright.
May I say one thing? I also would like to say, as a everybody, the principals especially, have a right to put pen to paper when they see. They have to be also very cognizant of their buildings and the grounds around their building. And there's nothing wrong with putting pen to paper to make people aware of what's going on. So I would like to, somehow encourage those that are in authority, put the pen to the paper. What's written is documented, and that's what you'll need. That's what we need, documentation.
Okay, Secretary Triplett, you have the floor.
Yes, Madam President. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, I can.
Yeah, I mean, and I think, when we walked through, there were things just a whole year that we were in a pandemic. There were things we walked into MLK, and we may just assume because Miss Raquette is from Benton Harbor that it's okay for those types of things to be in place in her building. Paint job, there were things that could have been done, that should have been done, and that needed to be done. And I, again, like I said, the majority of you all were able to see those pictures. It's unacceptable, and there are no excuses, in my opinion. It's just not. And so people have been paid. Nobody's volunteering. People have been paid to do a job, and I do not see excellence at all. These are minor things that are neglected. And we have to take a stance and say, this is not what we are going to allow in our district. Thank you.
Dr. Townsend, you have the floor.
Yes, I just want to add, when I came on board February 2020, the first thing, and Mr. Weber didn't join us until July of 2020. when I came on to Benton Harbor Area Schools in February 2020, the first thing I noticed as a superintendent was neglect immediately. When I walked into Hall, when I went to the high school, as you can see, the marquee still does not work. And that marquee has been down for I don't know how many years. The MLK was shut down for 5 years. Hull had mushrooms and mold growing through the floors. This is when I came in February 2020. We had big issues with the facilities director prior to Mr. Weber. In addition, once bringing Mr. Weber on, he led the air quality study in Hull and led that effort of shutting down that school and led the effort of opening up MLK to give our young people a school to go to. In addition to that, there was lightning striking twice with a vehicle speeding down McCord, jumping the wall and plowing into the building. That took a lot of resources out of our maintenance and facility staff to go in to clean that mess up, burst pipes all over the place. That happened in November, and that happened again in February. A vehicle jumped, boom, bust into the building. Now we have big pillars right in front of the school to keep vehicles from jumping the curb and plowing into the building. I'm only sharing that as an insider on a daily basis. We've had facility issues for a long time that has been completely neglected. I do believe in some sort of stability. I don't know who was, I know before Mr. Weber, we had a gentleman named Mr. Boone, and who was here for about a year or so. I don't know who was before him. Remember, we have over $3 million in sinking fund that is for enhancing our building. This has been the first year that we worked on that we're working on the capital improvement plan as a part of our strategic plan to spend that money in our facility. So, and also that ESSER money from COVID-19 is to enhance our facility. I'm only sharing that information to say facilities was a big deal when I got here in February, and we had some major stuff that occurred throughout the course of this last academic year. And the most recent complaints that I got came around graduation or prom, which was May 28th, graduation June 4th, and most recently a letter last week. That's at the end of the year after a full academic year going by of a lot of hard work and grinding. So I just want to give that context. I'm not trying to sway anybody one way, but I do want to acknowledge the hardcore heavy lifting that was done this academic year with regards to facilities.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. We've heard from just about everyone. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board before Secretary Triplett calls the vote?
Madam President, can we table this to another time where maybe we can discuss it at a different time? Is that allowable?
Is that a liability? Dr. Townsend,
I mean,
I think
a liability, but is it something
That
we can
allowable?
do?
And if not, I have a quick question. And if not, can we do a shorter contract term if we can't table it tonight?
What I would like to do is take the vote and let it go whichever way it goes. But I do believe in due process as well as progressive discipline. So to outline concerns, give those concerns and allow someone the opportunity to make any adjustments that they need to make. That's my personal preference because, you know, where kids are in summer school now, we need some leadership to support. I don't know if you guys, I sent an email to the board on Thursday. We had a major gas leak at MLK because of the construction workers in the city. And we had to do major evacuation. That calls for facilities to be on the spot. I mean, when we call snow days, I mean, I've done a lot of hardcore work with the facilities director throughout the academic year. So I believe in progressive discipline, calling out concerns, due process, and if things don't work out, because these most serious concerns just came about a week or two ago, and we're already in the due process. As a district, we're already within due process with addressing the concerns that literally just came across my desk. So I just want to just add that.
President Robinson.
you have the floor, Treasurer Creighton.
Yes, ma'am. Just to support what Ms. Rockett is saying, I wonder if we could table this as a discussion item pending to look at his evaluation and then possible coming up with some type of, I don't know, that would be for the superintendent to decide a plan or something, or we can go by monthly basis, or what can we do to ensure that we don't, because I don't want to vote yes or no if there's just some things that we just need to know. I think in the effort to be efficient and to be objective, if we did table this, allow the superintendent to come back to us with some more factual based kind of evidence on why he should be renewed, then we can move forward versus slapping him in the face and voting yay or nay. You know, I think we would be doing our district a disservice to vote yes or no at this time when there are so many areas of concern. But that's just to support what Ms. Rockette was saying. And I'm prepared to do either one, but I would just like to offer that input.
Okay, Secretary Triplett.
Madam President, in HR, these positions, these people have already been evaluated.
Yeah.
And so the evaluation should reflect some of the things that we've seen. The prom concerns and the graduation concerns, like I said, I went directly to the superintendent with the pictures and what have you. And our superintendent went out there and pulled up his sleeves and helped and participated in cleaning up and getting that high school presentable for people to come in too. So we should, as far as the evaluation, if what we have observed and what we're hearing, there should already be a plan for improvement in place. But at this time, I would like to make a motion that we table this HR report 6 until further discussion and observations from our superintendent.
Okay, so technically, Secretary Triplett, that motion was previously made by Trustee Rockette Martin. Is that correct, Trustee Rockette Martin?
I thought she was asking, could she?
Oh,
Yes.
okay.
Okay.
So I just made the motion that we table it.
Okay. Is there, so Secretary Triplett has made a motion that we table staff report H6. Is there a second for that motion?
A second.
Okay, so the motion was made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Treasurer Creighton, that we table this particular staff report. Secretary Triplett, can you call the vote?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton,
Yes, good night, everybody. Sorry I had to leave.
Trustee Bowens,
No.
Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Buchanan,
Did you hear me?
no. Trustee Buchanan,
Trustee Buchanan, you muted yourself again.
Trustee Rockette Martin,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Okay, I would like to say I hope it don't interfere with the vote, but I'm going to my doctor's appointment and I'm gonna be coming in and out. So I know we got some more stuff to vote on, but it's important that I go to this appointment. So do we have much longer to go?
Yeah, do you have your vote for us tabling HR report 6?
Yeah, I got the phone on. I'm gonna leave it on.
No, your vote.
Huh? Yeah, I said yes.
Oh, okay, I got you. Motion carried.
All right, next on the agenda is staff report H7, Dr. Townsend.
Reason submitting for board consideration, administrative contract renewal, facts and analysis. According to the revised Michigan School Code section 380.1229, the following contract is brought to board for renewal. Delandria Barnes, principal of Discovery Enrichment Center, effective 7/1/21. Policy reference 3124, employment contract. Recommended action that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for aforementioned staff.
All right, thank you. Next, we have Staff report H7 is what was presented. Is there a motion to approve staff report H7?
I make
So
a motion to support.
All right, so the motion was made by Secretary Triplett and supported by Vice President Bradley. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board?
Madam President, I would like to say, in my tenure on the Board of Education, in the majority of the committees that I've been involved in and things that I've been involved in, honestly speaking, when the curriculum department gives a presentation, or when Mr. Miller gives a presentation, I've noticed that the Discovery Enrichment Center is at the forefront of a lot of these reports and what have you. And so I just would like to commend Principal Barnes in her efforts. You know, when things are going on at their school, you know, somehow we get it. I do see her being engaged with parents on social media and stuff. And I you know, I do hear great things that are happening over at the DEC. So I do want to commend Principal Barnes for a job well done.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? I would like to support what Secretary Triplett stated regarding Principal Barnes. I would like to say that I've noticed that when she's before her parents and her children presenting, she presents in a way that you can be proud that she's a representative of Benton Harbor area schools. And I think that's something that's very important. And you can see that she's passionate about the work that she does. And she's just a model representation of our district. So I would like to just give my input to support what Secretary Triplett stated. Any other questions, comments?
President Robinson.
Yes, Trustee Buchanan.
Okay, I would like to piggyback off of that what Mr. Triplett said. I had her to come to the board meeting. She was an extraordinary principal, and she sees all the little things and all that, and the teachers just love her. So I'll give a shout out to her.
All right, thank you. Any other feedback from the board? If not, we can have Secretary Triplett call the vote.
Oh, President Robinson, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
I also want to say I had an opportunity to go to the kindergarten graduation, and when I got there, I was so happy. I know we got another report that's coming up to vote on for a principal, but Miss Barnes and Miss Rockette, they had already planned the transition of the first graders. The student from the kindergarten center had already been over to Miss Rockette's building, and they had met their first grade teachers for next year. So I think that is going to be a great partnership. So I'm excited about things to come as well.
All right, thank you, Secretary.
President Robinson.
Yes, Treasurer Creighton, I thought you were gone.
I know, I'm having a hard time. I'm not missed a meeting yet. But
Okay.
I just wanted to add that Principal Barnes is a teacher cadet in the Benton Harbor Teacher Cadet Program, and I think she is doing a good job. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Treasurer Creighton. So Secretary Triplett, can you please do us the pleasure of calling the roll for vote?
President Robinson?
Yes.
Vice President Bradley?
Yes.
Secretary Triplett? Yes. Treasurer Creighton?
Yes.
Trustee Bowens?
I don't know. No, yes.
Trustee Buchanan? Trustee Buchanan? Trustee Rockette Martin?
Absolutely, yes.
Yeah.
Motion carried.
Yes, I voted yes.
I got you.
All right, next on the agenda is staff report H8. Dr. Townsend. You're muted, sir.
Submitting for board consideration, administrative contract renewal Fact and analysis. According to the revised Michigan School Code Section 3801229, the following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Brian Linton, principal of Fairplain East Elementary School, effective date 7/1/21. Policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education vote to approve the contract renewal of the aforementioned staff.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H8?
Make a motion to approve staff report H8.
I
Is there a
support.
second support? Okay, so the
Support.
motion has been made by Vice President Bradley and supported by Trustee Buchanan. Any questions, comments, or concerns? Trustee Bowens, you have the floor.
Madam President, I'm confused on this. Why are we voting for administrators? I am under the understanding that their contracts would have been automatically renewed, correct? Because we did not vote for that in May.
Yeah, so if we don't bring to the board non-renewal by state law, it does automatically renew, but board policy do want all administrative contracts approved.
Is there a reason why this one is late, Eric? Is there a reason why the administration, we did not vote on them in May or June? I mean, May?
No reason, we just brought them to the June board. Anybody that we wanted to non-renew, we would have brought to the board for non-renewal.
Okay.
Any other questions, comments, or concerns before Secretary Triplett calls the vote?
Yeah, I would like to say that I had the opportunity to go over to Fairplain. Someone need to mute Ms. Buchanan. I would like to say that I did have an opportunity to go over to Fairplain East Elementary School, and they have such an amazing staff over there. Some of the hardest working people that I've seen. And so I went over there for reading month. I'd never had an opportunity to meet Mr. Litton up close and personal, but I had an opportunity to just have that brief encounter with him, and it was a great experience. I'm looking forward, and hopefully Dr. Litton will have all the support that he needs in order for that school to continue to be successful. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Vice President Bradley, did you have a comment to add?
Yes, the one interaction I had with Dr. Litton when that was earlier this year, we went towards the buildings, and it was very professional, and he was very engaged with the tour and making sure that we had a viewing of the building and make sure everything he could show us what was going on. So I'm elated to see that this contract is back up, and happy that he is going to be continuing on here.
Thank you, Vice President Bradley. If there are no other questions, comments, or concerns, I will pass it over to Secretary Triplett to call the vote for staff report H8.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Treasurer Creighton, he's left the meeting. Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Buchanan.
Yes. Yes.
Trustee
Could you hear me?
Mark.
Yes.
Motion
Okay.
carried.
All right, thank you, Secretary Triplett. Next, we have staff report H9, Dr. Townsend.
Yeah, I'm on my phone. You know where I am, don't you? You know where you at.
Okay, you got to mute, please. Submitting for board consideration, administrative contract renewal, fact and analysis. According to the revised Michigan School Code Section 3801229, the following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Michael Van Hoven, Athletic Director, Benton Harbor High School, effective 7/1/21. A policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the contract renewal for the aforementioned staff.
Thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H9?
Make a motion to approve staff report H9.
Is there a second or support?
I second.
The motion has been made by Vice President Bradley and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin that we approve staff report H9. Any questions, comments, or concerns regarding this report?
Madam President.
You have the floor, Vice President Bradley.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that Mr. Van Hoven has been very professional. I enjoyed going to the basketball games and making sure our athletic programs are top notch. Because I used to work in the athletics department when I was in high school and a few years afterwards, and that's something that's department that we'd like to see continuing on strong in our district with the coaches and everything. So I'm happy with that.
Thank you, Vice President Bradley. Any other comments from the board?
Yes, Madam President.
You have the floor, Secretary Triplett.
Yes, I'm looking forward to seeing the evaluation of the athletic director and the depth of work of the athletic director at Ben Harbor High School. Athletics and Tiger Pride is very important to me. Some of the things that I have observed, I haven't had the opportunity to speak in depth with the superintendent, but I'm going to take the superintendent at his word for this recommendation to us as a Board of Education. But I do have some concerns, and I will be discussing those things later. And I would appreciate if I could get an opportunity to see the evaluations of people in these positions. I struggle with the fact that our team, we were in our budget hearing. I struggle with the fact of one situation where our team had to travel on school buses on a long trip, and it was for some reason, they could not get the charter bus, even if they had done some extra work, and just the use of like I said, this year in COVID, it's been kind of hard to really observe and see the depth of it all, but I definitely want to see the evaluation and see how this particular situation was scored. I have not had any incidences where Mr. Van Hoven has ever been out of line or anything, but there have been some community concerns, and I would like to be able to discuss that further with the superintendent, but I definitely wanted that on the record. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? All right, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson?
Yes.
Vice President Bradley?
Yes.
Treasurer Creighton? Oh, she's not here. Trustee Bowens?
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan? Trustee Rocket Martin?
Yes.
Secretary Triplett? Yes. Motion carried.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Next on the agenda is staff report H10.
Submitting for board consideration. Submitting for board consideration administrative contract renewal. Fact and analysis according to the revised Michigan School Code section 380.1229. The following contract is brought to the board for renewal. Joshua Perkins, Director of Alternative Education for Careers on Alternative Pathways in Education, 7121. Policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education vote to approve the contract renewal for the aforementioned.
All right, thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H10?
I make a motion to approve staff report H10.
I'm sorry, were we on H9, Dr. Townsend?
Yeah, this is H10.
Okay, I'm sorry, thank you. So the motion was made by Vice President Bradley to approve staff report H10 and supported by Trustee Rocket Martin. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board?
Yes, President Robinson.
You have the floor.
I had an opportunity I only had an opportunity to interact with Mr. Perkins a couple of times this year. I met him at a committee meeting and he presented the CAPE program. And I also had an opportunity to sit next to him at graduation. And from what I saw, and I could never get back to him in the curriculum committee, I saw some good things happening over there. I saw some successes, and I was very impressed with the numbers of students who actually graduated from that program. So I'm looking forward to getting to know Mr. Perkins a little better and to get a better understanding of that program. Also, I mean, I keep hearing this back and forth about us calling this school Dream. The name of this school is CAPE. And I think that it is very, very, very important that is how this school is addressed. It is not the Dream Academy. It is a CAPE alternative program for Ben Harbor area schools. So the work that he has done is not connected to anything that is related to Dream. And it's the work at CAPE. And again, I'm looking forward to seeing some of the good things because I never got an opportunity to really talk to him up close and personal. But the things that I've seen, the outcomes that I've seen have been good to me. Thank you.
Thank you, Secretary Triplett. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? I would like to add that I had an opportunity to interact with Mr. Perkins at the graduation, and I got a good feel from his personality and the interaction. He was very pleasant, respectful, and seems to have a good relationship with the children. So I have not had an opportunity to be one-on-one with him much, but from what I've seen, it's been positive. So I just wanted to add that. All right, if there's no other comments from the board, Secretary Triplett, can you please call the vote?
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Bowens.
Yes.
Trustee Creighton. I see her still on here. Maybe she didn't log out. Trustee Buchanan.
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Absolutely, yes.
Motion carried.
All right, next on the agenda, we have staff report H11.
Submitting for board consideration to approve the contract change of the below staff. Fact and analysis is recommended that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for the following hire. Quandra King, childhood coordinator, instructional facilitator. Effective date 7/1/21. Employment contract policy reference 3124. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff.
Thank you, Dr. Townsend. Is there a motion to approve staff report H11?
I move the staff report H11 be accepted.
All right, is there a second or support?
Second.
The motion was made by Trustee Rocket Martin and supported by Secretary Triplett that we approve staff report H11. Any questions, comments, or concerns?
I do have some questions, comments, and concerns. First of all, I would like to say that for years, I've heard nothing but wonderful things about Mrs. King. And with her being one of the best teachers that we have at that level. I was excited that she had been looked at as it relates to becoming the early child coordinator for the district. But then I was disappointed when I saw the instructional facilitator added to it because I think that she brings more to the table. I do want to ask the superintendent, is this an increase in pay?
You know, I do not have salary on me at the moment. I can defer that to human resources. I do not believe it's a demotion at all. There's not a decrease in pay.
Well, what I would like to, I think that she could be more instrumental in that role as the early childhood coordinator with these instructional facilitator piece taken off. And I think that if this is a part of the grant, I think that we should look at more money being added to that particular role, because that is a very, very critical piece. And she has been in this district. You know, it kind of concerns me that the moves, when it appears to be local, that they're just unilateral. But I think her record has shown I'm sure her evaluations have been impeccable. And Dr. Townsend, if you could really look into that $3 million literacy grant, because she is absolutely amazing. I mean, I've heard this down through
Phenomenal.
here.
And she's also a part of the Western Michigan program that we have, the partnership. She's one of the lead teachers in that program. So we have we depend on her heavy. So to my knowledge, there's nothing negative about this, but I'll follow up to see if there's an increase in salary.
Yeah, if you could really honestly look at that, because like I said, I'm quite sure as you get into the work and what have you, once you have your staff in place, I think there are a lot of other ways that she can be of great support, especially at that particular level when people come into our school district, and also with us having as many TNTs in those positions over there. I think, with a few added responsibilities as far as oversight and teaching them the things that she knows how to do to strengthen that staff and be at that particular level, I think that we need to add some more money.
I do want to add, she asked for, when this position was announced, I do want to share with the Board of Trustees, when this position was announced, she was excited, she asked for it and applied for it and got the opportunity. So she went after this opportunity, for the record.
Thank you so very much. Yep, and I appreciate it, because when I saw early childhood coordinator, I got excited.
Yeah, no, she's official. Seriously, she's official.
Yeah, that she would be value added. So if you can you please check into that and see? I think that needs to go up.
No problem at all. I'll look into that. Yes, sir.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Trustee Bowens?
Mr. Triple gave Ms. King a heart attack just a few minutes ago. But
You're muted, sir. We can't hear you at all.
Can you hear me now?
Yep.
I was saying Mr. Triple gave Ms. King a heart attack when he said he had some concerns. I want to say Ms. King has been fabulous. I've known her. I went to school with her children. Gosh, I'm feeling old now. I went to school with her children, and I know people that were in her class, and she's had a class in order when she was a teacher, and I have no doubt that she is exceptional at what she does. And I want to say congratulations and job well done.
All right, thank you. Any other questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Secretary Triplett, can you call the vote for staff report H11?
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan, Trustee Buchanan.
I'm sorry, I'm muted. Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you so much. Sorry for the yelling.
Trustee Rocket Martin,
Absolutely, yes.
Secretary Triplett, I say yes, in hopes that there will be a salary increase and she will be able to do what I know she will be able to make our district the best. Yes. Motion carried.
All right, awesome. Next on the agenda is the last report of the day, staff report H12. Dr. Townsend.
Yeah, submitting for board consideration to approve the employment of staff in accordance with the revised school code and other general laws of Michigan. Fact and analysis, it is recommended that the board approve the superintendent's recommendation for hire of the following personnel: Jill Latham, grant accountant, effective date 7/1/21, policy reference 3124, employment contract. The recommended action is that the Benton Harbor Area Schools Board of Education votes to approve the employment of the aforementioned staff.
Great, thank you. Is there a motion to approve staff report?
Make a motion to approve staff report H12.
Is there a second or support?
I second.
Support.
All right, so the motion was made by Vice President Bradley. I'll take the support from Trustee Buchanan. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board regarding staff report H12?
Can you say that again? It was Bradley and Buchanan?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Oh.
Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? All right, Secretary Triplett, you have the floor.
President Robinson,
Yes.
Vice President Bradley,
Yes.
Secretary Triplett. Yes. Trustee Bowens,
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan,
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, thank you, Secretary Triplett. Next on the agenda is open public comment. All right, give me 1 second. The Board of Education recognizes the value of public comment on educational issues and the importance of allowing members of the public to express themselves on district matters. Today, there are 2 areas for comment on the agenda of which you may decide when to speak. Public comment on agenda items and open public comment. We are now at open public comment. Per policy 0167.3, which governs board participation, at board meetings, we request that you preface your comments by an announcement of your name, address, and group affiliation when appropriate. Each statement made by a participant shall be limited to a 3-minute duration. Liz, I'm actually reading your screen. All right, 3-minute duration. And per our bylaws, no participant may speak more than once during this meeting. Participants shall direct all comments to the board and not to staff or other participants. The board will listen, take comments and questions under advisement and not respond at this time. I, as president, will refer questions to the superintendent for research and response. If you have specific questions for the board or executive team that require follow-up, please email those directly to liz.goodwin@bhas.org. Is there anyone on the line for public comment? I'll call once more. Is there anyone on the line for public comment? All right, thank you so much. Next on the agenda, we have, I believe, board announcements and comments. So I am just going to call you all in the order that I can see you. The first person that I see is Trustee Rocket Martin, and then next is Secretary Triplett. Trustee Rocket Martin, you have the floor.
I really have no comments. I'm just glad we were able to move board business right along. Thank you, everyone.
All right, thank you, Trustee Rocket Martin. Secretary Triplett, you have the floor.
Can you skip me while I get this stuff done and come back to me, please?
I sure can. Vice President Bradley.
I really don't have too much to say. I was glad that we were able to come in and get business done, taken care of. Also, Dr. Townsend, enjoy your vacation.
All right, thank you, Vice President Bradley. Trustee Buchanan, would you like to go ahead and go while you're muted?
All right, I would like to say good afternoon to everyone. And we did, nobody called in, so evidently we done a great job. And I know for a fact we don't have teachers we had once before, but we do have good, working, caring teachers in our district, and they deserve our support. And we have, you're gonna get feedback and comments from different ones, but I know Miss Barnes. I just love her. I witnessed something happen to her when she was last year at the high school. But we need our kids when they come back, like I said, and I just go for the whole thing. For instance, I would appreciate it if, like I saw one of the football coach, the football boy, coach, he was a graduate of Vietnam High School. We need, if they qualify to do the job, we need to let them get the job and do it right, because our kids need us. There's so much going on right now in the world, not only in Vietnam, but all over. And one thing I can say to everyone that's on the board, that's off the board, let's show love toward one another. Everybody have an idea. Maybe Mr. Triplett's idea is better than mine. Maybe mine's better than Ms. Robinson. But we all need to share ideas in a decent manner. Thank you so much, and I love y'all. And I'm sorry for the inconvenience, but I was on my way to an appointment, and I didn't want to miss this meeting. So thank y'all.
All right, thank you so much, Trustee Buchanan. Secretary Triplett, are you ready?
President Robinson, I'm back.
All right, you have the
I
floor.
wanted to say something.
Go ahead.
I have this mask on. Can you hear me?
You're breaking up a little bit, but you're a little bit better.
Oh, okay. I just wanted to say that we had a great committee meeting yesterday. I'm sorry, on Wednesday, the Human Resource Committee. I think we had a really good meeting, and I feel good about the work that we're doing internally so that we can be more efficient and more effective. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Treasurer Creighton. Secretary Triplett?
Yes, I'm here. First of all, I would like to say congratulations to our staff and to our superintendent. He can go on his vacation and be able to at least rest, knowing that he do have his staff in place, with the one exception. And I hope that we're able to work through that and get that done. I want to say this to everybody here. I just watched the George Floyd outcome. And that knee is very symbolic. I believe that we were allowed to see that knee for a reason and for a purpose. I think that it is very imperative, not just loosely using the words, inspect what we expect. I would not be giving any precursors on what it is that I do and how it is that I do my work for the citizens on behalf of the students and our teachers. That part for me, our teachers in particular, that part for me is something that troubles me. And I honestly lose sleep at night thinking about our teachers and what our teachers are being paid. And despite, I've seen former colleagues who have been here through it all, that's still standing and fighting. And so for me, the first 6 months are finished. And I think I have enough information, and I've had an opportunity to observe the things, because when you come into something, you must stand back and you must look and you must see before you start jumping in with everything. So I want to say to this Board of Education, and I don't have to say this to you, it's never personal. Governance, oversight, and accountability. Governance, oversight, and accountability, and it's never personal. I am looking forward to the second half of my first year being on the board. And again, to you too, Dr. Townsend, I hope you and your family have a wonderful vacation. You need it, because I know I have given you, I know, but I want you to know that I want you to be the very, very best. And I pray for you as well. And so y'all be safe, y'all enjoy your family and your children, and have a great vacation. And when you get back, it'll still be here for you, brother. God bless you.
All right, thank you. Trustee Bowens.
Madam President, what time is it?
6:29.
School board meetings since I've been on the board. We're getting out in less than an hour, well, a little bit over an hour. So I'm not going to say any more comments that we just made a record today. That's it.
All right, awesome. And so I am technically last. I do not have a lot to say. I'd like to just say thank you to my board for being available for this special meeting and making accommodations in your schedule to be here for us. We have people at appointments, meetings, and adjusting as needed so that we can get the work of the district done. And I appreciate that.
President Robinson. President Robinson.
Yep, give me one second. Okay, I appreciate you all more than you know for making accommodations in your schedule, and I thank you. And I'm glad that we were
President Robinson.
Trustee Buchanan, give me 1 second.
No, I know. I want to interrupt you. I know that you're speaking, and I want to tell you too. You done a good job. All of you done on the board. I'm proud of you. Forgive me for interrupting. That's not nice, but I wanted to let you know, and the whole community know around you're doing things in a professional manner, and I love that. Continue to support. I'm going to support you whether nobody else does. So now finish your thought and tell Mr. Triplett to call me. All right.
Thank you. I'm glad I let you interject. I appreciate that more than you know, and I thank each of you for being here today and just making accommodations in your schedule so that we can have our meeting. So thank you, everyone, our guests, our community members, Dr. Townsend for making adjustments in your schedule. And I also want to wish you, piggyback off of what Secretary Triplett stated, and wishing you a good vacation with your family. So next on the agenda is adjournment. We did realize that we left off a comment for Dr. Townsend. So once we have a motion and a second for adjournment, Dr. Townsend, if you would like to add a comment at that particular time, a comment to the adjournment, you're more than welcome to do so. Is there a motion to adjourn our meeting?
I move that we adjourn.
Right. The motion has been made by Trustee Rocket Martin. There was a second. I didn't catch who that was.
That's it.
Okay.
I second it.
Okay, I'm going to take it from Buchanan. So I received a motion for adjournment from Trustee Rocket Martin and a support by Trustee Buchanan. Any questions, comments, or concerns from the board? Dr. Townsend, do you have a wrap-up comment you'd like to add at adjournment?
Very brief. Thank you, Board of Trustees, for the approval of the contracts. I know we did table one. I hope that our team get that information as soon as possible so we can just be done with that situation. I don't feel like I'm working a day in my life, to be honest with you. I'm having the time of my life doing what I love. And someone asked me, would I do this for free? I feel like I am doing it for free. The labor law is covenant. This is contract for me. Covenant means do what it takes until. So I'm pledged to do what it takes to serve this community until it's better than it was before. So thank you for the opportunity. I would definitely recharge. I will still have my fingers on the pulse to an extent, checking my emails to make sure ain't nothing crazy is happening. Mr. Johnson is the lead administrator when I'm gone. He does a great job for us. But thank you so much, and I hope to see you guys when we come back, when I come back in July.
All right, awesome. Secretary Triplett, you have the floor to call the roll for adjournment.
President Robinson.
Yes.
Vice President Bradley.
Yes.
Treasurer Creighton. Treasurer Creighton.
Looked like she left.
Secretary Triplett, yes. Trustee Bowen.
Yes.
Trustee Buchanan.
Yes.
Trustee Rocket Martin.
Yes.
Motion carried.
All right, awesome. So we are officially adjourned at 6:34 p.m. I think we set a record. Have an amazing weekend, everyone, and I'll speak to you.
Good evening, everyone.
Bye.
Good evening, everyone.
Can you tell me what time the meeting officially started, Madam President?
5:11 p.m.
Thank you, Liz.
I'm so proud of you all.
Not done.
Right.
Yeah.
Recorded, Liz.
Have a nice